You ever see that movie with Goldie Hawn, Wildcats? You ever see that? One of my favorite football movies. When Woody Harrelson's the quarterback, Bubba Gump comes in to save the day as the other quarterback. I don't know his real life name. Man, it's a great one.
I've seen like 5 movies. I've seen 5 movies.
Played by a king.
I don't know that one.
Football. Damn, I got a big mouth. I mean, I'm just talking over you, and you're trying to say important things. Like, you've only seen 5 movies. What's up, everybody? Chris Ahmed Fareed is here. What up? All right, you're very coachable, okay? First thing,
thank you.
Very coachable.
I take that as a compliment.
Your energy drinks that we're drinking, you've cut them out for the most part.
For the most part. For the most part.
Now, if we could just get you to wear some football gear and not baseball gear on a football podcast, just call him. Just saying. Stop confusing the listeners, all right?
That's not a bad idea.
But I do have a big mouth, and I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, that you did not see my football movie with Goldie Hawn.
Didn't see it.
Wildcats, okay?
Yeah, didn't see it.
But 5 movies ever? Lifetime, little embellishment there?
That's an exaggeration, but I typically see probably 3 movies a year.
3 movies a year.
Maybe less than that. Maybe some years I see 2.
What have you seen this year? Anything? Did you see any of the Best Picture movies?
I don't even remember the last one that I saw.
No.
Oh, no, I do. I went with my kids. It was a kids movie.
Right. The Avengers?
Incredibles? No, Incredibles 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
I saw that one.
That was a good. I saw it too in the theater. That's one of my favorites.
That was pretty good.
Yes. I mean, that's in the Despicable Me category. Okay, but really, now you're a grown-up, so have you seen other grown-up movies?
Not many.
Right? Like,
not many.
I mean, Star Wars. We've seen those?
Star Wars, I've seen most of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the early ones I saw, but it's been a long time. I have not rewatched them.
The Godfather?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch the freaking Godfather, okay? Godfather 1 and 2 are my favorite movies all time.
Here's the problem with it. So I had not seen Caddyshack for a long time, like years and years and years. And it was a similar conversation with a friend of mine. And he goes, you can't go your whole life and work in sports and not see Caddyshack.
Right.
I was like, all right, so fine. Like a year ago, I watched it.
Yeah.
And it for me, seeing it for the first time now, I was like, this is an awful movie.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not that funny right now.
It doesn't stand the test of time. Like, if I would have seen this movie when it was intended.
In 1978?
Yes, I would have laughed, probably hysterically. Well, I wasn't quite alive.
Yeah.
But,
so you went to the peer pressure for Caddyshack with all these other great movies.
Now I'm scared, though. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go back and see Godfather, and I'm not seeing it when it was meant to be seen. I'm going to go, it's not good.
Field of Dreams, Mr.
That
Baseball?
I've seen.
Oh,
that
you've seen that one.
That one
okay.
I like.
All right, what other baseball movies have you seen? Apparently you like baseball movies.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own, okay.
And
okay.
That's it.
The Natural?
No, The Natural.
Bull Durham, no?
Bull Durham, Rookie of the Year.
Major
League, I have seen.
Major League, okay, I like that.
Naked Gun, that's kind of a baseball movie.
It is, you're right. One. All right, so you've seen some, but you like Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, I've seen.
Okay, so you're not as bad as I thought. Jaws, Jurassic Park?
Jaws, no. Jurassic Park, no.
Okay, well, show your kids Jaws.
There's
They'll love to go in the
holes.
ocean here in the New England area.
It's bad right now. I was listening. There's a lot of sharks out there.
Yes, there is.
They don't necessarily eat on humans. So I did do my. We're not part of the
I like that in
source.
passing, though. They don't necessarily eat on humans.
That's what I try to tell my wife. I was like, don't worry, they'll let them play out there. They don't eat on humans. I do. So here's my top 5.
Okay, you have a top 5.
I do.
Good.
So number 5 is Inception. I thought that was pretty good.
Ooh,
right?
I like that too. I like Inception.
I like those thinking movies.
It is deep.
Good.
You actually, it's better the second time you see it because it's too deep for me the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not as smart as you. You play football and play quarterback.
Number 4 was Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg. Very underrated movie.
Yeah, I've seen it. Okay. Great.
Number 3 is Back to the Future. That's a classic.
That is a classic, yes.
Number 2, Field of Dreams.
Okay.
And then my number 1 favorite movie of all time is Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. That's my number 1 favorite movie.
It's pretty good. Groundhog Day is really good. I'm not going to say it's anywhere near my top 5 all-time movies. Yeah. I tend to go a little more the serious route, but it's still that did stand the test of time.
That did. That's a good movie.
It is.
And it's kind of dark, but okay.
Okay, back to football now. Okay. And we got lots of news to hit. First off, no Phil today. Okay, big effort. Had to go to the doctor. Who knows what he's got going on? It's either skin or teeth or backiotomy. Who the hell knows? He'll be back on Thursday for everybody out there that's wondering. So we'll hear from him, and he's certainly got some thoughts and things to talk about the preseason football. But we're going to do a little film review today.
Okay.
You're going to throw out some players.
I am.
We're going to do some speed rounds, some other deep thoughts by Chris Sims and his film studies. I've seen just about everything that needs to be seen in football. As far as film goes.
You do. Every time I go into your office, you're like, I'm just trying to kind of
I'm just trying to stare. Yeah, I was trying to even get a few things in before we started the podcast. So we got all that coming in. And then we got some news to hit on. It's actually been a pretty eventful last 2 or 3 days.
A lot of news. And can we start with Jerry Jones?
Yes.
The video out about Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
So I think we have the soundbite. You know, Ezekiel Elliott still holding out.
Right.
Wants a new contract. Thinks he deserves it. Thinks he's one of the top running backs in the NFL, which he is.
Yes.
If he can get paid, that's another question. So when Jerry Jones was asked about Ezekiel Elliott in regards to what Pollard had done.
Yeah, Tony Pollard
had a good preseason game, looked good.
Yes.
But some of the reporters were wondering if maybe Tony Pollard would want Ezekiel Elliott to come back and talk to him so they could team up and create a dynamic backfield. And here's what Jerry Jones had to say to that question.
Is Pollard your best negotiator with Zeke?
Who?
Pollard.
Zeke who?
He's got you on camera.
We're having fun. We're having some fun. Not at your expense.
Yeah, not at your expense, but actually it was at his expense.
At Zeke's expense.
Yes.
I don't know. Was Jerry saying not at your expense, the guy holding the camera?
I think he was telling Zeke
into
that.
the camera.
I mean, first of all, the way he sold it, all right,
Yeah.
this is just things that jump out to me when I watched it raw.
Okay.
The way he sold it and how he paused for a second told me that was preconceived. Like at some point that was going to come out during the interview. As soon as he got one little way to fit it in there, he was going to do it. 2, as you might have heard, Ezekiel Elliott and his camp, his agent comes out yesterday and makes a little statement.
They were not amused.
Not amused. Thought it was a little disrespectful. I agree. You know, again, I know Jerry wasn't saying this to be mean, but this is just not the situation to joke around. You know, first off, Ezekiel Elliott, this is more than just joking around. He's sitting at home. This is his livelihood. It's not just his livelihood. It's his future family's livelihood. It's the family around him. He is in a spot right now to change the rest of his life. And he's put in a lot of work and taken a lot of big shots and already broken his body down to an extent to where he's within every right to ask for more money. You said it. He feels like he might be one of the best running backs in football. Hey, I'm not going to say he's better than Saquon Barkley. He's definitely one of the top 2 or 3 running backs in the game, hands down. And the results speak for themselves. Every game he's played in, he's led yards per carry. Yards per game average. Okay, he's led the NFL 2 out of 3 years of his career in rushing. You know, they are. Here's a great stat if you're watching on YouTube: 28-12 with them, 4-4 without him. Oh yeah, exactly right. 4-4 without him.
Yeah.
All right, that rings true to me. Now, that first off, I don't think Jerry Jones would have liked it if like the roles were reversed and Ezekiel Elliott was like, man, Robert Kraft, Jerry who?
Yeah.
I don't think he would have liked that. That would have hurt his ego.
I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, so it's messed up. 2, not cool. I'm just telling you, the guys in the locker room are going to look at Jerry and go, damn, that's how he's going to do. That's how he's going to do Zeke.
Right.
That's how he's going to clown on him. He's going to play games on him. So that's a little messed up too. And I understand Zeke being a little pissed off. Last thing I want to say before we move on. Let's everybody pump the brakes on Tony Pollard. Okay? Yes. I understand.
He did look good.
He looked good, right? You could have ran through some of those holes for 5 or 6 yards.
4th-round pick out of Memphis.
Yes, I like Tony Pollard. There's a reason Zeke Elliott was the 4th pick in the NFL draft. There's a reason. Because he's 30 pounds heavier than Tony Pollard, 25-ish. He's faster than Tony Pollard. He's stronger, every bit as explosive. So, you know, again, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, the Cowboys are good. Did you see preseason game number 2 against the backups with the Rams?
Yeah.
Why the Cowboys had all their starters in on offense other than Zach Martin? So yeah, you got to be careful there. And I know, again, Tony Pollard's going to at least give them confidence to go, hey, we can run our offense and do that. But my big thing is, hey, if this goes into the season and they got to play the Giants week 1, and I'm just throwing this out there right now, the Giants are going to be a handful. The Giants offense, already Shermer's got his stamp on it. It looks good. The Giants defense is full of man meat, okay? Man meat. There is 1,000 pounds between 3 guys on that defensive line. When you go to B.J. Hill, Dexter Lawrence, and Dalvin Tomlinson, that's 315, 315, and 345. I mean, that's almost 1,000 pounds right there. Yeah, there's not going to be holes on certain plays.
Right.
And that's where Zeke really comes into play. And
they might have a problem even with Zeke in
week one. They might. Yes, they're putting a lot of pressure on their new OC and Dak Prescott and everything around it. But I just thought that was a little bit of a low blow by Jerry Jones.
So here's something too. You know who agrees with you that Tony Pollard cannot replace Zeke?
Who?
Jerry Jones. So the end of that soundbite that we've heard, the Zeke who, he does go on to say that he likes what he saw from Tony Pollard, but he thinks that he could complement, not replace. And he did go back and say, he goes, not replace.
Yeah.
He's like, I think he can complement Zeke, which, he definitely could in that backfield.
Yes.
And so, while maybe the joke, the timing wasn't great, and if you're right in the middle of a contract dispute wasn't great, the intent for Jerry Jones, I don't know if it was malicious because 30 seconds after he says Zeke, he does go out of his way to say a couple times, not replace Zeke, compliment him.
It wasn't malicious, and I think you're right, and we do need to make sure that it was not malicious. It was just bad timing, and it as much as he was excited with the way his team looked and Tony Pollard looked, he's got to remember there's a guy at home who wants to be playing football. This is where the NFL...
Does he have the leverage to get the deal done? Does Zeke have the leverage? We saw last year Le'Veon Bell did not have the leverage.
No, I know. I do think Zeke has the leverage. Now, do I think the Cowboys are cocky enough to think, oh, no, we're still good enough and we might pull it off? Yeah, I think they do think that as well, too. Yeah. And it might take them getting smacked in the mouth week one against the New York Giants, and then they go, damn, let's get him back. Let's give him the extra $1 million or $2 million he's asking for that we didn't want to give him and get him back here and get him in the fold.
Are they worried they can't pay Dak and Zeke what they both want? You think that's part of the equation, or do you think that they both could get their money and they're still okay?
Well, I think they can both get their money within reason. I just don't think right now they're asking. I think they're probably asking for money that Dallas isn't willing to give right now. Yeah. And they got to worry about Zeke first and get that handled. And again, the running back money, even top dollar running back money, is not going to make or break anybody's salary cap at this point in time. I mean, $14 million a year, whatever it may be, that number is going to be right around there, is not going to make or break the football team for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they're trying to squeeze a few million off of him and probably a few million off of Dak Prescott and everything like that to make things work. I get that. But I think Zeke has real leverage here because the team is built around him. And I will not be shocked if we saw, like we saw in 1993, him miss the first two games or miss the game or two.
Like Emmitt Smith.
And exactly, to where they go, ooh, okay. They started out 0-2 that year and then ended up winning the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw something similar. Not saying they go 0-2, but maybe they're in real strugglesville and barely win two games. I could see that happening.
In the meantime, Zeke continues to train in Cabo. Maybe that's why he's holding it.
Well, I think he's back in Texas, too.
Is he back in Texas?
I think he's back. I think this past week he just came back, yes. Okay. Yeah.
I'm almost scared to bring this up because it's the ongoing saga that we've been talking about with Antonio Brown. He's filed a new grievance with the NFL. He wants to wear that shut air advantage. He wants to wear that helmet, and now he's found a couple that are not 10 years old. And that was the big problem before, is that any helmet that's 10 years old, we're not allowing it in the NFL. But he says, I want to wear the shut air advantage. It's from, I think he's found one maybe from 2014.
Yeah.
And the
from
grievance,
a movie, I believe, that was made for it.
Right. And the grievance that he's saying is that, that is a specific helmet that is not on the band, not one of the 11 banned helmets by the NFL.
Right.
And so if he can find one that is not
within
10 years old,
right,
he should be able to wear it.
Yes.
And the NFL so far is reluctant to let that happen, but it seems like he does perhaps have a point, but it may be hurt by the whole fact that everyone's over this whole helmet thing at this point, including the NFL.
No, I think he does have a point in the fact of the matter that everybody else got to wear their helmet one more year for that grace period year, right?
If it wasn't banned before, like Tom Brady last year had a helmet that...
Same with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Same thing. They had a helmet that they knew it was banned. It was no longer to be able to be usable in the NFL, but they had their one last time to shine in it, and then they got to move on to the new helmet. I'm guessing that's where Antonio Brown filed the grievance, and he's going to say, no, I deserve that 1 year grace period too. The interesting thing about here, and I'm fascinated to see where the NFL goes with this, is, I think the NFL clearly made a mistake here. Like, this should have been number 12 helmet on your 11 banned helmet list.
Yeah.
And they didn't put it on there for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because it's been out of production for so long and they just didn't even feel like they had to.
Maybe.
And it just slipped through the cracks because one guy is wearing it. Like, I would like to know how many people actually were wearing that model helmet last year. Yeah. Or if anybody else was. I mean, Antonio Brown, it could be very real that he could be the only guy in football that's even wearing that type of brand of helmet. Regardless, you can't be just walking out on the football team because you're not going to get your helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You're a high-level athlete, all right? One, you have been traded to a team who invested a lot of money into you and have just rolled out the red carpet for you as soon as you got there. Be a leader. We're going to form the offense around you. I mean, you hear Gruden and comments and Hard Knocks. I mean, it's a glove story. Has anybody seen my friend Antonio Brown? I mean, who talks like that about a player who's said, screw you, team, I'm not coming around for a while?
I wish he was here.
Yeah, wish he was here. I mean, so, there, it just shows you the love factor they have for him. But, enough is enough with his antics. He can file the grievance, but go to work. Be a leader. You got a lot of young guys that are impressionable on that team. And you got, guys like Derek Carr who are fighting for their life. John Gruden's second year, like, damn, I need to start showing some signs that we're turning this thing around.
Yeah.
And you're putting people who put a lot of faith into you, and you're compromising them big time. And that's where Antonio Brown is just, it's got to end. And I'm glad Mike Mayock made that comment yesterday about
you're either all in or you're all out.
Had to happen. Somebody had to say it. And I'm sure Gruden wanted to say it, but they're doing it the right way. Let Gruden be the good cop, because he can gush about his play and the meetings and go, oh, look at Antonio, and we're going to do this for Antonio and all that. And Mayock can be the bad guy to basically say, no, it's got to change. And it does. It has to change. It really does, because he looks ridiculous at this point. I mean, he really does, and I'm sick of talking about it.
Yeah, it has been the story that keeps on going, and I think a lot of people are sick of talking about it. There was one thing that I thought about, though, and it was last time we were doing the podcast, you said that Gruden would make you yell at the linemen during your team meetings.
Right.
Kind of got you in that frame of mind of, okay, feeling a little more comfortable doing that.
Yes, right.
I almost wonder if a similar thing has happened to Antonio Brown, where he was kind of had a whole off season where he was a diva and fighting back against the man or the Steelers or Ben Roethlisberger, and now he's kind of in that frame of mind.
It just empowered him to be that way.
Carried over into another issue here. I've tried to be kind of empathetic and try to get into the mind of Antonio Brown, and why we talked a little bit about, you have your special equipment that is that safety blanket for you, and I did kind of think, athletes are superstitious, right?
You're right.
And perhaps Antonio Brown has this piece of equipment that he thinks has protected him for a decade, and nothing serious has happened to him with this piece of equipment, and so he just feels a little suspicious or superstitious that I need this thing on my head, because if I do something else, something bad could happen.
I understand that. Bad things have happened in the helmet, though. Vontez Burfict knocked him on the side of the head. Hey, at least he's on his team anymore. The other thing we got to. Ultimately, I think the NFL is going to say no to this whole thing, because I think they've messed up. It is an independent arbitrator. I'll be interested to see where it goes. But the fact that it's not passing any of the tests, right? That the NOSCAE.
What are these tests? I wonder how you pass a test.
They do impact type hits on the helmet, and they can kind of measure how it withstands in different areas and whether it's up to par in the NFL. And if Tom Brady can wear a helmet and go to 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls in one helmet and take it off this year and go to it, then damn, you can do it, Antonio Brown. Because I know Tom's has brought even better luck than his own helmet, and hopefully this will get figured out for the Raiders' sake.
You need to look at the bigger picture. You need to look at your position as a team leader of a new team if you're Antonio Brown. I agree with that.
Yes, they saved him, and they gave him money, and he got himself kicked out of Pittsburgh and held them hostage and had a team come in and save the day, and you'd like to give them the respect. And nothing's going to be bad yet. Nothing's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Don't worry. The Raiders are not going to panic with this until his play starts to go, then they're going to go, whoa, we don't want to deal with you. But right now, I think they still think his play is going to be, whoa, holy crap, and they're going to deal with some of this.
Okay. That story will continue to play out. We maybe not going to talk about it anymore.
I doubt it.
We're getting over it.
We'll talk to it Thursday.
There's something. We're going to look at some of the film review in a bit, and Daniel Jones looking pretty good, I think,
he is.
Once again.
Yes.
But there was an interesting story that came out in GQ. Baker Mayfield was talking to GQ, and they had a quote. Apparently in the story, they were sitting down, just hanging out. Something came up on ESPN Sports Center about Daniel Jones, and Baker Mayfield sitting there and says, quote, I cannot believe the Giants took Daniel Jones. Blows my mind. Some people overthink it. That's where people go wrong. They forget you got to win. I think it was kind of an off-the-cuff statement. It wasn't like he was trying to go out of his way to bash Daniel Jones, but that's exactly what he's done. What do you make of that?
Well, and what is some of the context? Like, they were sitting there and it popped up on the screen.
Yeah,
right?
It wasn't even like part of the interview. It was just, he was there with a reporter. That was the impression in the story. He was there, and it came up on TV, and Baker Mayfield just kind of made an offhanded comment about Daniel Jones.
Apparently, nobody knows when the interview is taking place with GQ.
Right.
Because it was the third person. They got Jalen Ramsey last year. Odell Beckham Jr.
quarterback
earlier this summer.
Yeah.
Where he really didn't make any comments. I think other than his only comment was like when I got to Baker, it was a totally different arm or whatever like that. But still, that made headlines. And then, this. So there's a few things that popped to my mind, and we talked a little bit about this before we went on air. Just like, this is different than an NFL beat writer or Peter King coming to your house. There's a little unwritten rules within the NFL of like, oh, hey, I'm here to interview today. Hey, we're going to hang out and shoot the shit, but I'm going to sit down at one point and tell you, hey, let's do the interview.
So if you're talking to someone in the NFL, an NFL writer, a Peter King, and you're kind of talking before the interview, before you sit down, before he pulls out the notepad, everything that you say is kind of implied off the record.
Yes,
even if it's not said, it's implied off the record.
I mean, I know I usually always said it, hey, like, just to be careful, but there was other times where I know I said things and like they knew it was off the record. We were sitting there just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And then, okay, now the tape recorder comes out and here we go with the interview. That's usually how an NFL interview
And I think
works.
it's unique to the sports world. I think in the news gathering world, if you're talking to a reporter, it's implied.
It's live,
It's live on the record. You can go with anything unless you say off the record. So I think that the sports world's a different world, and I think that's catching these guys.
I think that's fair. There's checks and balances in the sports world because, again, I'm just using Peter King as an example. He goes to Baker Mayfield. He's certainly not going to go there to go, let me screw over Baker Mayfield for a great headline.
You want to keep that relationship.
Exactly, because when Baker maybe wins a Super Bowl 2 or 3 years from now, and he does that to him, he's going to go, oh, shit, I want to interview Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield's going to be like, hey, you.
Yeah.
You burned me the last time. So there is the checks and balances that go in there. GQ, however, will not probably be doing a follow-up for Baker Mayfield on the cover unless he does win another 2 or 3 Super Bowls. Then they might, and then he might be able to give him the middle of the finger. But I do think this is one of those things where, he was talking casually, and he didn't realize that this was a full-day event, and they caught him off guard. Because this is not – Baker Mayfield's not afraid to talk. He wears his heart on his shoulder. But he hasn't, taking low blow jabs at anybody where I just
You think that was a low blow jab at Daniel Jones?
I mean, a little bit. I can't imagine him wanting his name associated with that quote. Whether he obviously believed it at the time because he said it, but I'm sure that he wasn't saying that for public consumption.
What do you think about the point that you gotta? Some people forget you gotta win. I think he's implying that at Duke he didn't win, and I don't think he had a winning record as a starter in the 3 years Daniel Jones there. I think it was 17-19.
Right.
Well, he was there, and Baker Mayfield had a very successful college career.
I know.
What do you think about the point he was making?
I don't like the point. I will fight against this point. Now, I am one that did not like Daniel Jones in the first round and thought number 6 was crazy. I did not think he was a first-round quarterback. I really didn't. Top of the second, that's kind of where I thought he would be. Either way, he's been very impressive, and I'm not going to take that away from him. I don't like the point of here we go into wins and shit again. Wins. I mean, Duke ain't going to beat Clemson. I don't care if Patrick Mahomes is there this year. They're not going to beat him, okay? Wins. Baker Mayfield, is he going to continue to win if he stayed at Texas Tech and before he transferred to Oklahoma? Doubt it, because Patrick Mahomes came and didn't win. John Elway didn't win. I hate that thing all the time of win, win, win. He can make that point and go, oh, I don't see the talent, or I don't see what they're looking at, whatever it may be. But to just put wins and losses on the quarterback, to me, you know me, that's like a pet peeve of mine right now. It's all it's become. It's Jared Goff wins, Brady wins. It's nothing.
Did you win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, there's nothing to do. Oh, that's right. The best player on the team's Aaron Donald. That's right. I forgot. Damn, I thought it was Jared Goff doing everything. I mean, so that's where I just get frustrated with that talk all the time, and I don't necessarily agree with that assessment of it.
Did you ever get caught by that with a reporter saying something kind of off the cuff, and then all of a sudden you read it in the paper, read it on the internet, and you're like, I wish they wouldn't have put that out there?
I can't recall one.
Careful.
I can't recall what. I did have the luxury of growing up around it and seeing my father and always realizing to be a little careful. I mean, I think you know me. I'm pretty loose with the lips, and I'm not afraid to say a whole lot. But I can't recall one time where I went, oh, that was really stupid of me to say.
Yeah.
I can't say that I did.
I've a couple of times where I've done an interview just about TV shows that we've had throughout the time, and remember I said something not quite right, and it goes word for word. That's the only thing every once in a while.
Like you just misspoken and you said something that sounded stupid.
I was like that. Yeah, why couldn't they clean that up for me? Yeah. That's the only.
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't think I've made anything controversial. I'll tell you where I do get worried about, and I sometimes do get worried that, oh wait, I'm talking to some guy, a radio or whatever, and I'm making a point about a team, and I worry about, oh wait, I talked to that coach last week about this team. I hope I didn't just say something he told me not to say.
Oh.
That's where my biggest worries come, because sometimes I talk so much and I have so much information coming my way, whether I'm studying or people I talk to at times. I get worried, like, oh shit.
Have you gotten that where a coach has called you or texted you and be like, hey?
Yeah. I've definitely danced with the devil in the pale moonlight.
Yeah.
You know what movie that is?
No.
Batman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the one with Jack Nicklaus and Jack Nicholson.
Adam West.
Yeah.
Adam West.
Another movie you haven't seen. Jeez.
I haven't seen it. Okay, so real quick, I want to stick with the Browns because this just came out too, and it was Odell Beckham. And talking about his departure from the Giants. I'm sure a lot more is going to come out here. This is via Sports Illustrated. The quote was, on the trade to Cleveland, this wasn't no business move. This was personal. They thought they'd send me here to die.
Ooh.
And so now they're upset because he's clearly still alive. And so their plan failed.
How dare he be live?
What do you think of that quote from Odell?
I think that's his true feelings. And again, I don't think that's like anything bad, right? He's just telling you how he feels about the situation. And I get that. There was a lot of rumors out at the time that, and he even said it, I'm still trying to process this and all this. He was blindsided by it, by all accounts. And I think that's where he feels probably disrespected, right? I do think it was a business move for the Giants. I don't think it was personal. I think they just got, there was just, the Odell Beckham Jr. spectacle in New York got too big, and they felt like, man, maybe we need to change the mantra of our team there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, maybe it's a little personal in that aspect, but I think where it became personal to Odell Beckham Jr. is he goes, okay, here I am, superstar player, best player on the football team, and damn, not even getting a warning call to the agent, a conversation with me to go, hey, we've been talking to the Cleveland Browns or this team, right. Team X, and there's a possibility something might go down. I think that's where he was probably hurt by it, the fact that it just was out of nowhere. And then it sounds like, just from what he has recounted about the conversation, it was a very quick conversation with Dave Gettleman to be like, hey, we've traded you to the Cleveland Browns. Thanks for everything. See you later. And I think that's where he feels disrespected. And he should to a degree. I understand him being personal. It's always personal for a player. It's the first time he's never been wanted in his life, right? Yeah. Where he's going, everybody else, we want Odell, we want Odell, we want Odell. And he's like, what? They don't want me? I'm sure that kind of surprised him. I think he probably goes, I deserve better than that for what he's done for that franchise, the last few years. And he's looking at it and going, damn, there's a receiver down the road in Pittsburgh who just acted a fool for 6 weeks, threw everybody in the organization under the bus.
Yeah.
Coaches, quarterback, other receivers. And damn, they even had a conversation with him about trading him and kind of bent to his needs and what he wanted.
Right.
And then here he's going, when I want a new contract, I showed up. I never held out. He did everything right from that standpoint. Yes, did he propose to the kicking net? Yes, he did. And he apparently got it pregnant, too. Got the kicking net pregnant. Very bad. Okay?
Yeah.
And then, yes, he did do the boat trip on his day off. I get that. And I'm not saying, he's a choir boy. But he certainly, I think, deserved a phone call prior to that to just warn him that this might go down.
I wonder if they didn't trust him at that point.
Maybe not.
If there was a way they were like, if he is going to say no to this, they got a deal, they got an offer from Cleveland they loved, apparently. Because I don't think they just sought out a situation to send him to make him go die. They knew Cleveland's an up-and-coming team and that he had a good chance to be successful there. I'm sure they had to think that.
I think your point there, though, about that, maybe they didn't trust him is real, too, because maybe that's where the Antonio Brown thing played into this whole fact. And Antonio Brown forced his way out and was kind of creating his own trade market. And maybe they were scared that if they gave him an inkling something going down with the Browns, that his agent might get involved and start call teams and like kind of convolute things, right? So that would be interesting either way. Now, there's rumors in the NFL that the Giants got better trade offers than the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they took Cleveland, and I don't know why. But I've certainly heard it from more than one person in the NFL to say there was offers there that were better, but for some reason the Giants didn't want to do it with those teams. I don't know why, but that's just something I'll throw out there.
Giants and Browns play in 2020. Maybe they didn't want to trade him to anyone who they'd have to face in the 2019 season.
Maybe it was
division.
NFC teams, right, where they felt like, gosh, we don't have to have that thrown in our face where, division, or like we're going to play them in week 16 for a playoff berth and he's going to catch a slant and dance in the end zone and we're going to have to deal with that. Maybe you're right.
Which I could get. Nothing could get you under hot water fast enough than playing Odell twice a year and have him go off in both games. With
no
Baker
doubt.
Mayfield.
You're right. No doubt.
Although that's not going to happen with Cleveland. So that's some interesting news.
It's good stuff.
We've got the podcast here.
Yeah.
But NBC Networks, they got a growing list of podcasts.
We got it working. And starting off with the worst podcast of them all. It's horrible. I mean, the host is horrible. He's a jerk. But no, in all seriousness, PFT PM, PFT Live, which I'm a part of in the morning, but the PFT PM podcast with Mike Florio, phenomenal. Mike is as smart as it gets. Anything to do with, bylaws in the NFL, digging deeper into deep subjects in the NFL. This week he's got an interview with Drew Brees. I think that'll be pretty cool. And then, of course, you can always check us out on PFT Live and PFT OT. We go at it 4 times a week where, we get into it. We're real good friends, and we have some good arguments, too. But check that out. Check all those things out, all Mike Florio encompassed things. He's a little bit of a ringer, that guy. He's got all these things going on, but seriously, PFT PM's worth the listen.
Well, you do too. In the PFT overtime, I'm like, how many more thoughts do you guys have? I thought we heard them all.
Who are you telling? That's right.
I thought we heard them all on the show and on the podcast, but you do. There's always something to talk about when you got 30 teams and there's drama around the league. You do always have good content, and we have good content because we've seen some games again. And that's what we like. They don't count for real, but they do kind of count because you get some film against some starters for maybe a limited period of time, and we've done that again in week number 2 in a little segment we like to call Film Review. It's
very creative.
We're trying to trademark it right now. We're running into some issues with that because apparently it's been around for a while.
Do you like film review or reviewing the film?
We might have to go with reviewing the film because that might be the only original title that we can come up with. So Film Review, week 2. Can I give you some quarterbacks here?
Yeah.
And go through them? And I want to start with a guy that I covered back in the Bay Area for the last couple of years.
So that's why you're not wearing the 49ers jacket today.
I couldn't today. I had it. I was like, you know what? Didn't look great. Jimmy Garoppolo, first action since tearing his ACL last season against Kansas City. So let me give you the numbers, even though you don't really look at numbers, but you do look at the tape.
Well, the numbers are worth it here.
So 1 for 6, 0 yards on that one completion, 1 interception. So the numbers ain't great.
No.
Did the film look any better?
No, it did not.
Okay.
I can't say that I sat there and went, oh yeah, got a little unlucky, got this, that. First off, let's know this. The guy hasn't played a ton of football to begin with in his career, and he hasn't played any almost in a full year. So this is the first time being out there in live action. I certainly did not expect him to come out there and be Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers and just dicing people up. Got to have more respect for the sport that way. It's just not that easy to just go back in there and go, oh, I'm the man again. So I knew there would be some cobwebs to work out. Within that, okay, this is another aspect with all preseason games you got to take into effect here. Some teams game plan, some don't. Some are playing starters, some are playing the second stringers. Hey, in this particular case, these teams are practicing against each other all week. So Vic Fangio, I'm sure, had a great feel for what the 49ers were trying to do. But regardless, the overall look from Jimmy GQ at this point, it just wasn't stellar. Okay, and not that I say I'm panicked yet, but here's the things that bothered me. Of course, the interception, right? The interception, I'm not sure which guy he was throwing it to. I'm not sure if he was throwing it to the outside guy who actually intercepted it. I don't think so. My understanding of that play is he was trying to throw the running back fade down the sideline there, but because it's his first action and he had pressure on him, the game's moving fast. Everybody hears that every now and then, right? The game needs to slow down. I bet you the game was like chaos to him last night. It was a mosh pit, like a concert, where when he's really greased up and feeling good, it's a nice symphony, and everybody's sitting in their seat. And, oh, this is pretty. Yeah. But last night he was trying to and he's like, whoa, they're coming after me.
It's heavy metal.
Right. And I mean, that throw was in no man's land, so that's like discouraging. That tells me he wasn't seeing the field real well and wasn't even comfortable in the pocket. Another throw a little later on, should have been a pick six, right in the guy's breadbasket. Again, just another instance where I went, man, I mean, the guy clearly had the leverage on the receiver. I don't know what you could have saw there to make you think you were going to get that in there. Plus, he had the guy who was running the corner route over the top of it in a man-to-man coverage. If he throws the ball out towards the sidelines, he's probably going to get a completion there. So just little instances, I say, of he's not seeing things clearly.
Yeah. So 1 for 6 is 0 yards, 1 interception, and it could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
Not great.
Could have been worse. Now, again, I know you haven't seen this movie, Last Samurai, but they talk about Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. He's trying to become a samurai sword fighter, and they go too many mind, right? You're thinking about too much. Just focus on your moves in the fight and the guy in front of you. And I think, he's all over the place. Oh, offense, new players. Oh, let me protect my front knee. I don't want anybody to fall on it.
Well, that certainly could be part of it, too.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's talked about the rust. But there is this idea out there now after seeing that game, and you do hear a little chatter of, okay, how much, positive film and how much evidence do we have that Jimmy Garoppolo is one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL? He had a great run with the 49ers when he was starting, and that's what got him paid the big money.
It is, right.
But I think after seeing the game last week, maybe a little unfair, first game back.
And even the start of last year, though, it wasn't great to start the year. The Vikings, the Chiefs games, you know what I mean? Yes.
So how confident are you that Jimmy Garoppolo is still one of the upper half good quarterbacks in the NFL?
It's one of the biggest question marks in football right now. He really is. For all the things you just said, we talked about it early on. As a guy that hasn't played a lot of football, and, there he's had a long time off. I would say the pressure on him is probably as great on him as anybody in football at the quarterback position. To what you're saying, he had that 6 games, right? Yeah. So that gave them confidence, but they were also backed into a corner. They had no quarterback. So they kind of had to, make a move and pay for him. Yeah, that's where things really became a little bit tough for the 49ers. I think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch thought they'd be able to scrounge some games together with Brian Hoyer and C.J. Beathard and win a few games and then maybe wait for Kirk Cousins and free agent. Right. But it started out 0-10, and then it was like, oh, shit, we got to get somebody in here that can, right the ship to a degree. And Bill Belichick calls, and they make the trade, and it happens, and then all of a sudden things happen. And, yes, is he overpriced and overpaid for what he's done to this point? Absolutely. I mean, there's no denying that at this point. We're hoping now that he will justify it. And the last thing before we move on, this goes into, too, why you want to know why he's struggling. Anybody go back, watch the TV copy, watch the film. Some of his mechanics are horrible. His feet are not good. He throws a lot of balls flat-footed. On the interception, he literally steps sideways to throw a ball. Let's just say we're standing on a clock, right? And 12 o'clock is in front of you. Yeah. He wants to throw the ball to 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock over there, but he steps to 7 o'clock. I mean, damn, and the ball's not going to go where you want it to go if your leg's going one way and you're trying to put your upper body another way.
Is that new, or these are
little things I saw last year. Okay. He doesn't do hitch steps, right? I want to almost stand up and show everybody.
We always like it when you stand up, too.
Okay, then I'll do.
Sometimes you're out of frame, but that's okay.
Yeah, but okay, you got it. You got the gym there.
Your head's out of frame, but
that's what everybody wants anyway, right? Okay. Nobody wants to see me.
Oh, you're good.
But okay, so I'm going to stand right here, but okay, you see Brady, right? Brady catches the ball. Rodgers catches the ball. When they see a guy open, they catch the ball, okay, and it's boom, and they throw. There's that little hitch step, that gather step to get your power and get it. Garoppolo, everything is catch it, and it's, or sometimes he literally will step backwards. And I just go, man, so if you're going to throw balls into a tight window, that extra 3 or 4 miles per hour, that might be the difference between it being complete or that guy getting a pick six that hit him right in the chest. And that's where I would be concerned. He compromises his power and his ability to really get the ball out of his hand with authority because his feet are, Yeah, they're too flat. There's not enough movement there, and they don't get in the right positions.
That's interesting. In good hands with Kyle Shanahan, you hope that they can bring him along, but some question marks for Jimmy Garoppolo, and some question marks maybe now developing in preseason week number 2. You don't want to overreact. Of course, we're going to have our underreactions coming up.
Yeah.
But to Kyler Murray, you said after seeing him for the first time, he looked really good. Didn't look as good his second preseason game. 3 for 8, 12 yards, was sacked twice.
Yes.
What'd you make of Kyler in week number 2?
I'm not going to back off of what I said from week 1. I still like the way Kyler Murray looks. This would be my assessment of kind of what happened and why it wasn't as smooth. First off, there was the whole clapping thing and the false starts. They got to get that figured out.
Yeah, so what was that?
Well, they're basically calling false starts on the quarterback for, these abrupt fake claps, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel like quarterbacks have done that.
Not the abrupt fake claps. The NFL quarterbacks is usually a leg lift, or you put the finger down, like in between your legs, so then the center who's looking between his legs can see it, right?
Okay.
You might go, hey, second finger, first finger. But when it's an abrupt motion like that, like a quarterback underneath the center who might go, hot, 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 and bob his head too aggressively.
Right.
This is the same type of thing. It's too much of an aggressive movement for guys who are in the three-point stands and trying to go on like the first little movement, and then they can see a guy in their peripheral vision kind of doing something like that. That's not fair to them.
Because what are they snapping it at? Are they snapping it on the sound of the clap?
Yes.
And so he's trying to do
he's trying to fake the clap. Right. So just like it's like a dummy snap count. Let me see where the defense is moving because they think I'm going to clap. Oh, okay. I didn't clap. I got him. Oh, that guy's coming. Let's get the protection over there. That's basically what he's going to try to do. They're going to have to rework those mechanics. That's not going to fly in the NFL. Every defense is going to complain about that to the referees before the game starts. But I will chalk it up with this. Kyler Murray, a little off, yes, definitely. But, I liked his reads. I wasn't like, oh, well, that was stupid. Or, whoa, that ball was like a helicopter out of his hand. That looked like shit. Yeah. No, he was still throwing piss missiles all over the field, just a little off. And really, I think it was the first time, he was uncomfortable. The Raiders did some things that I think were a little more advanced than the Cardinals were expecting in preseason game number 2. And there was a few moments where he got the ball, and I don't know if he thought he wasn't 100% sure he was protected. So he gets the ball, he looks at the receiver, and then he look back to go, oh, damn, is that guy blocked or not? And then he tried to look back down the field. Little things like that can throw your rhythm off. But the Raiders did some creative blitzes, and I think did some things to where, ultimately, you're going to be good for Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. It's going to make them grow up. And I can picture John Gruden. This is what John Gruden used to say in scenarios like this with young quarterbacks. I think we owe it to them to see if this guy's up on his blitz responsibilities. I think we need to see. We owe it to them as good NFL coaches to see if he knows what the he's doing when we send pressure. And I think that's kind of what happened. They said, let's mess with this rookie. And, of course, he wants his team to start looking good, too.
Yeah.
It's in a big year for him, so he's trying to frame that as well. So I'm not panicked.
So maybe they had some more advanced tactics on the Raiders side, you say they did.
Yes.
And Cliff Kingsbury has said, he told our own Peter King, the games were trying to keep it close to the vest, obviously.
Yes.
So he's indicating that there's obviously a lot more in their bag of tricks that they are not showing yet.
Toughest thing about the preseason is some teams are game planning. Some teams are going, nope. We're doing as basic as can be. And like I said, some teams are playing starters, other teams are not. And that's where you got to be careful to evaluate and always just look at stats. I just look at the player and does he belong? Ooh, his movement's still good. His reads were still good. The ball came out of his hands. I'm not worried about Kyler Murray if he'll hit the corner route next time when Larry Fitzgerald's there. He can do it. Yeah, he missed the other day, but he'll do it. And he'll do it to where it's going to be 9 out of 10 times. It's all new, and the game's moving fast at times.
So you say don't look at numbers, but these are just too good not to look at. Daniel Jones, 11 of 14, 161 yards, 1 touchdown, did lose 2 fumbles.
Right.
In the game. But
not worried about that.
Not worried about that. Okay, so Daniel Jones is making everyone, including yourself, who said he shouldn't have been the number 6 pick, look silly right now. True or false?
True. No, that's true. I mean,
not silly.
Well,
but
it's okay.
Still.
He has every right to go, hey, screw all of you. I look good and eat all of that. I mean, I hope that's what he is thinking in his brain. I mean, I want to go interview him so he can shit on me and return the favor. I mean, I really do.
I don't think he would do that.
He probably wouldn't. He's more of a stand-up person than I am. But either way, yes, Daniel Jones, I think has surprised me with the fact accuracy is phenomenal. The quality of the football, his timing and understanding of the offense in general is just really good. Let alone, he does have a presence. He looks big out there. He plays bigger than his actual size is. And we haven't even seen him run and do stuff like that, which is pretty damn impressive too. But it's some of the down the field throws that I think I've been the most impressed with. You know, whether it's the touchdown in the first game in the back corner of the end zone, or the fade down the left sideline in this game, hit another deep cross. All those things, it looks good. He looks the part. Now, I'll say this. I think the Giants are game planning a little bit more than other teams. I do. I think Pat Shurmur's going, it's year 2, and I got to get my stamp on the offense, and these guys got to start getting reps with the things I want to do. The Giants O-line looks good. They play, you know, he got to get in there with the starting O-line, so that was a great advantage this time around. I only have one concern about Daniel Jones, okay? And it's a concern that I had during the draft. And I just saw a glimmer of it for the first time in preseason game number 2. And again, he was 11 for 14. It's really awesome. But we're a podcast that likes to break football down. And we got to not only self-scout thyself, I need to scout everybody else. The one thing that just jumped to me a little, and it's just something to watch for because I saw it at Duke a lot, and this is what really scared me, is, again, I'm going to stand up, okay? You ready for
Absolutely.
this? Part 2.
Do it quick, and it'll cut off your head at first, but then we'll adjust.
There we are, yes.
Okay, there we go, we got it.
But Daniel Jones, okay, to this point has been very good with the shoulder, right? And if he wants to throw it, as he throws it, he kind of gets a little turn to create opposites and do that. It looks great. But this is what I saw a few times in the game the other night, and I saw this at Duke. He can get the front shoulder open, and then it never gets back to where it gets. And there was a few throws, 2 specifically in the game, where he wanted to throw his heater, the 100-mile-per-hour fastball, had like a crosser going across right to left. And he wants to let it go and put it in a tight window. But he gets all like, it's like only the arm goes. He doesn't get any of the body involved, and the ball dies and falls at the feet. And that's, you know, I'm just saying, I hope that doesn't continue to happen. Because what he's done in all his other throws has been phenomenal. These are just 2 or 3 throws, but I'm just saying those are things that I just saw. I'm getting very technical here with quarterback. I'm not panicked or anything like that. Daniel Jones has looked phenomenal so far.
So what do you make of the fact that the owner of the Giants, John Mara, has said that the perfect season would be that Daniel Jones does not take a snap? He does not take one snap all season. It's Eli Manning's show. I mean, I guess that means that Eli's playing at a high level, 38-year-old, and they're winning a lot of games. And I mean, I guess there's a lot of sense to it, but what do you make of that? There's no snaps for Daniel Jones throughout the year.
I'm not shocked by that. I mean, they mentioned the Patrick Mahomes template before the draft about we would like to follow that. And in this case, Eli's Alex Smith, and you know, Daniel Jones is Patrick Mahomes.
Have you seen any from Eli? Anything that jumps out at you from the limited time he's been on the field?
One, my dad's been at practice twice, and he's told me Eli's look good. But Eli looks good. Eli, I could tell he's worked with somebody to throw the football for the first time ever. His motion is tighter. He doesn't let his arm get as long behind him and break his angle at his arm. So there's 2 things. The ball popping out of Eli's hands, even the touchdown throw in the game the other night. I challenge anybody to go on TV, look at like the second cut where they show like a little end zone cut. The ball is really spinning. That is not usually an Eli Manning football. Like, it is spinning hard, a lot of revolutions per yard or whatever you want to say there. Other thing is, he looks in shape. Like he's lifted weights for the first time in a long time. And like, thank God. He does. He looks good. He looks a hair quicker, a little more pop in his step in the drop. So, you know, I know I've been rough on Eli the last 2 years, but it's deserved. It hasn't been good. And if he can look like this and put positive things out there, trust me, I'll be there to give him lots of compliments and say, go Eli. I'm not afraid to do that.
4 for 4, 42 yards and a touchdown for Eli Manning. And if he can get some protection, if he is improved, a little bit improved version, then
he's all happy. He's a Giants fan back here.
We do.
Look at, he's like, thumbs up, cool.
Smiling ear to ear. Daniel Jones and Eli both look good. Oh, this is the best thing ever. There was one quarterback last week that you said jumped off the screen to you.
Yes.
And it was, you didn't quite say he's the eventual successor to Tom Brady, but you were really impressed with what Jarrett Stidham did last week. This week he goes 14-19, 193 yards, 1 touchdown. He capped a comeback as well. You know, I don't know how valuable that is in the preseason, but you are trying to win and move the ball down the field, and you feel the pressure. 23-yard touchdown pass with 4 minutes left to get that comeback. So what'd you think of Jarrett Stidham this week?
He continues to impress. Hey, I had Jarrett Stidham above Daniel Jones, and I will sit there and go, tell me what really the big difference is between the two. I mean, to this point right now, and that's not trying to be a hater on Daniel Jones or anything like that.
I just like Stidham.
I just like Stidham, is right. Stidham's arm is big time, and he does it with ease. I mean, he can really, 20-yard out routes, and it just looks like he's throwing the ball 5 yards, but, you see the ball, and you go, whoa, damn, I mean, okay, that's on a line. So calm in the pocket, doesn't get stuck on the first read too long. Really orchestrating an offense that's very complicated in NFL terms. And I know New England doesn't have, the whole kitchen sink in yet, but regardless, it's an offense that it's got a lot of different layers to it. The verbiage is hard, and, not as he's not going to run as fast as some of the other. He's no Kyler Murray. Daniel Jones can run faster than him too. But Stidham is like Brady, really smooth in the pocket, just little subtle moves. And if he needs to break out of the pocket, he has enough speed to get on the run and make a throw on the run. So Stidham has been one of the surprises of preseason to me. I mean, not to say I'm surprised. It's just been better than I would have even imagined.
Sure.
The quality of throws. Did he have a few mistakes? He had one down in the red zone. He should have thrown an interception, threw the ball behind the guy. But again, those things are to be expected to a degree. Right now, he is looking like he's on the arc to maybe be that replacement.
Maybe he had the advantage of playing in Nashville because the last time he played in that stadium, it was for Auburn.
He tore it up.
Threw 5 touchdowns in the Music City Bowl in December.
Hey, he looks like he's like, if you told me, if I didn't know who it was, and you said, hey, look at number 4, I'd go, what is he, like in year 3, year 4?
Yeah.
He's poised like an NFL, but he's unfazed by the rush. It's an aggressive mindset. If he sees a little opening or inkling he can get the ball in down the field, he's going to pull the trigger and throw it. And I like that about him so far.
So maybe in 12 years when Tom Brady retires, it could be the Jarrett Stidham
54
show.
years old. He's won 14 Super Bowls, and he's retiring finally.
Been a backup for a decade.
Yes.
And finally gets his chance. One more real quick. We got Ryan Finley of the Bengals. I don't have his numbers, but how did he look?
They were good, okay? I'll pull up the numbers. I got them here for you. Don't
Bengals.
worry.
He threw a 19-yard pass, I think. That popped up.
He's 20 of 26 for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Ryan Finley's going to be the backup in Cincinnati. I've already seen enough to know that he has more talent. He plays the position better than a guy like Jeff Driscoll. Finley, as you may remember, I also had him in front of Daniel Jones, and I would argue there too. Tell me what the difference between Daniel Jones, Jarrett Stidham, and Ryan Finley is. They're very similar guys in their aspect. Finley really plays big. He looks like he's 6'7" out there, even though he's like 6'4" and change. But another sneaky good athlete. Okay, his arm is maybe not as powerful as Daniel Jones or Jarrett Stidham, but it's still a good arm to where you go, oh, there's no problem with him making any throw. I mean, he can make them all. The thing I really love about Finley, and I love this coming out, his accuracy is off the charts with any type of throw. I mean, it's like, bam, bullseye. Damn, bullseye. Whoa, he's moving in the pocket and people around him. Damn, bullseye. Yeah. I mean, that's what really jumps out to me. And he does it, without overpowering the football always. Like I said, it might not be a 98-mile-per-hour fastball, but it's 95 or 96. And he's just got a great anticipatory, is that a real word?
Anticipatory, yeah.
Anticipatory.
That's a good one, too.
Feel of like, oh, there's the window. I can put just the right touch on this ball to where when the guy hits the window, it's going to hit him right in the chest. He really has a great feel. He really plays the position the way it's meant to be played. And, I would say watch out for Ryan Finley there in Cincinnati.
Okay.
I mean, I think he could be a guy that takes over the reins there at some point.
I got another quarterback I want to talk about, but I'm going to save that for the underreactions from week 2 of the preseason. So how about we do the speed round here, but we're going to do it a little differently this time.
Okay.
We're going to play music.
I got to give Peter King some love first, okay?
You want to do that first?
Okay, so I think I got to do it.
Go for it.
You're right. Peter King, right?
No, but we should give Peter King love throughout the podcast.
I mean, we really should. He's kind of a big deal. But Peter King podcast, another one. You got to listen to Peter King. He's still on his training camp tour. He's getting every big star ever known to mankind in the NFL right now. This week, Jason Witten and career Shamrock up his butt, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's got both of them coming. But part 1, of the training camp tour, Friday, 1 p.m., NBCSN. That'll be a cool watch just on TV. Part 2 will be Monday, 12 p.m., NBCSN. And then, of course, all content is on NBCSports.com. But, man, Peter, I don't know how he does it.
He's like the GQ of NFL reporters because he gets things out of players and coaches that you don't normally get
nobody does. No,
mm-hmm. and yes. And then they do go back and talk to Peter King. They don't hold it against him.
Yeah, right? Peter is amazing. He really is. Just being around him in Cleveland and Pittsburgh, the relationships he has, and he's a big deal. The stars always come over to say hi to him. The coaches want to talk to him.
Yeah.
But I would say anybody. Peter King Podcast, not only does he have every inside story in the NFL, he's got great guests and can ask some fun questions. Always a good listen.
Okay, don't get freaked out.
Okay.
We're going to play music for the speed round. I don't know what music we picked. Hold on. Whoa. Can you do it with this music?
I'm feeling fast already.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Speed round.
Do some quarterbacks.
Okay.
The Dolphins, Josh Rosen.
Hey, not concerned. Liked what I saw. Again, the Dolphins, they're not talented on offense. All I do, Ahmed, I see highlights and they show his 2 worst throws of the night. He should have had 1 interception. There was still a lot of other good throws, and let's not forget, Miami's not winning the Super Bowl. They're not that talented. I'm still good on Josh Rosen.
Is that
fast enough?
Your answer was almost lyrical. It was almost like you were singing a song, or it was like a spoken poem. Washington, Dwayne Haskins.
Ooh, Dwayne Haskins. Explosive arm once again shows itself, okay? One thing I don't like about Dwayne Haskins right now, and I know he's raw, he's got a little funky, leaning forward as he throws right now, where he's literally, like this as he's throwing the ball. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
You're standing up again in the speed round?
Okay. It's quick round. It's quick. But, yes, throwing the ball, he'll be like this. And, again, I'm a lefty, so you got to switch it around. But he's throwing a ball over here where, okay, Tom Brady would be like this, right? He'd be like, oh, okay, your weight's on. He's like this at times and throwing it. And it's making it very hard. It's making it high-effort throws. I just worry about that. But either way, he's young. I knew he was raw, but he has shown enough of his talent of his arm to go, ooh, wow, there could be something in this kid.
Looks like Colt McCoy is not going to be ready for the start of the season.
No.
So if Case Keenum doesn't win the job, which we think he will win the job.
Yeah, he's going to win it.
If he doesn't, though, Dwayne Haskins right there, but we do think it's going to be Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold. What'd you see?
Well, and one of the most impressive guys in all of football right now. Sam Darnold is on an arc right now to get himself in the conversation. And I know it's preseason game number 2 to where I go, this is going to be one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football next year when I have to make my quarterback rankings. Darnold, my only concern with him was, can he make the explosive plays, the push the ball 20-yard plus throws down the field to stretch a defense out and make those? He is showing me that in the preseason. Phenomenal feet, phenomenal quick release, and when shit breaks down, damn, Sammy D can play backyard football as good as anybody there is.
We can't talk about Sam Darnold without talking about Josh Allen.
Same type of thing, except with Josh Allen, I didn't worry about the explosive throws. I worried about, can he continue to hit the short, intermediate throws, be accurate enough to where he can put the ball on the guy and the money to where he can run after the catch? Whoa, watch the Carolina Panther game. There's a number of throws. The offense around him, Cole Beasley working the field like Edelman. This is Brian Daboll. He came from New England. They're running the New England offense, but Josh Allen has already shown that the accuracy thing is not going to be an issue. He can throw it. Not only with power, he's a great athlete, but he's understanding how to play quarterback. Super impressed. I'm telling you, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen has a chance to be like one of those Manning Brady rivalries where that twice a year we tune in to watch these two greats because they're fighting for a division title or fighting for a playoff spot. I think you got a chance to do that. I'm very bullish on both those teams.
Couple good young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the offensive line part of our speed round.
Yes.
Philadelphia with left tackle Andre Dillard.
Andre Dillard, first-round pick out of Washington State. I mean, he's playing left tackle right now because Jason Peters is not in there. They got their franchise left tackle whenever they want him to take over for Jason Peters. Looks the part, is the part. He's probably going to be guard when Jason Peters gets back in the lineup to get their best 5 on there. But either way, I really like what I saw. I mean, great feet, great anchor, long arms, everything you want at a left tackle.
Texans offensive line.
Ooh, I mean, hey, that's one of the big question marks in football. Deshaun Watson, you watched it last year, got sacked all those times. Oh, can they protect him, do all that? They draft Titus Howard in the first round. They get Max Sharping. Was it in the second or third? I don't know. Don't hold me to it. I'm close to it either way. But both of them starting at guard right now. okay, and look the part. They're going to be there. First off, they wouldn't be starting in front of Deshaun Watson unless they had given the coaches had got the confidence to go, oh, no, these guys block J.J. Watt every day, and they're doing fine, so they're going to be okay this week. Like, really impressed with them. I was kind of down on the Texans because of the Houston line questions I had going into it. Last 2 weeks made me think, damn, Houston's going to be a pain in the butt when I got to pick my playoffs teams now because the O-line might be better than I thought.
Oh, I almost thought that was it. Second round pick. Second round pick
for Max Sharping? Okay, good.
Baltimore secondary.
Man, one of the best units in football. Okay, Marlon Humphrey wearing 44 because he was a nice guy and gave 29 to Earl Thomas. So I first was like, who the f is this 44 guy? Like, he's good. And I was like, oh, damn, it's Marlon Humphrey. Okay, they don't even have Jimmy Smith out there right now. But let me just say, with Marlon Humphrey, Brandon Carr, Earl Thomas, and Tony Jefferson, okay, at safety, whoa, all right? Tony Jefferson and Marlon Humphrey, I know are good players, know they've been good players. Marlon Humphrey looks like he's getting to shut down corner territory. Tony Jefferson's amazing safety. They haven't had speed like this, a ball-hawking free safety in the back end since Ed Reed. And you can see Earl. Earl's still got to rocket up his butt. I'm, like, pumped about what I saw from that secondary.
Let's wrap it up with 4 defensive standouts. You can touch on any one you want or all of them.
Go ahead.
Carolina defensive end Marquise Haynes.
Marquise Haynes, just want to throw that on people's screen. He's popped to me last week in the preseason game. Long, athletic freak, a lot like Brian Burns. Not saying he's going to be a starter, but he's going to be in that pass rush rotation. Watch out for him. That's all I'll say.
Giants defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence.
I think he's been the best first-round defensive lineman in the NFL so far. He's been better than Quentin Williams, Ed Oliver, any of them. Lawrence is a space eater, but holy crap, his power and ability to push people back in the pocket, it's apparent right off the bat. I've been really impressed.
Packers corner Tony Brown.
Tony Brown, an undrafted free agent from last year, okay, was on the Rams, I believe, for a little bit. When they go nickel defense, he's the starting corner right now. He ran 4.35 at the combine, right? So I'm watching this and I'm going, man, who's this 28? He can really run. And, you know, Jair Alexander, the safeties, I'm pumped about all of them. But you put Tony Brown on the outside and then they move Tramon Williams inside at nickel when they do that, like, watch out for him. He's going to be a guy that, I think is going to be the starter there and has great man-to-man cover skills, it looks like to me.
And finally, Patriots defensive lineman Chase Winovich.
Chase Winovich, I mean, as New Englandy as you can get, right? I mean, you know, it's like Rob Ninkovich, it's like Mike Vrabel, it's that kind of guy. Like, not going to just wow you, like, oh my gosh, he's going to get 12 or 14 sacks a year because he's a physical freak coming off the edge. But he does have some freaky traits. He's very twitchy, okay? But it just has an unbelievable motor. He's gotten a few sacks even in this game last week where it wasn't like he just obliterated people, but he never gives up on the play, and then he gets to the quarterback and gets the sack, but can do everything. Drop into coverage, take on the run, versatile, smart, shocker that Bill Belichick found him. I'm really shocked that he found this guy. But he's just perfect fit up there, and he's going to have a little role within that team. Is that fast enough?
We did it.
Ooh, I got a headache.
I'm sweating. I'm actually sweating a little bit.
You didn't even do anything.
I know, but the music and you stood up a couple times and it just got me.
Are you wearing another baseball shirt underneath your baseball jacket?
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Negro Leagues, Kansas City Monarchs.
That's cool. I like that.
And then San Jose Giants.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's too much baseball.
It's okay.
For a football podcast.
But I'm down with that T-shirt. That's really cool.
Okay. I got to take
You flustered? You good?
Should we promote another podcast?
Oh, that's
to give
what we do.
ourselves a breather?
I do.
don't know.
The two Robbies.
Oh, yeah. I worked with them yesterday.
Yeah, how are they?
They're great.
I think I've only met one, and I'm ashamed to say I'm not sure which one I met. Okay?
Robbie Musto, Robbie Earl.
Robbie Earl.
They're both they had like 2 months off,
right,
because the Premier League season is so long. But they had 2 months off to rest up, and now they're back to the grind.
Back to the grind.
Yeah.
The start of the 197 game schedule that they do over there.
And they shot a pod. We did a whole day's work yesterday. We did Wolves, Manchester United, 1-1 draw. Really good game. Paul Pogba missed a penalty kick. Wolves, yeah. Wolverhampton Wanderers is their long official name.
Okay.
It's about 2.5 hours outside of London, apparently.
Okay.
Wolverhampton. But yeah, and they did the podcast. After the long day, they did the podcast in studio there for a half hour.
I love a good work ethic.
They're grinding as well.
Yeah, and the latest episode recaps all the matches from week 2. Drama with help me out, VAR in the draw.
VAR,
VAR, okay. Okay. Both footballs having issues with replay review. They're having replay review issues.
So they have, for the first time ever, they have replay review for handballs and offsides in football, and they're having the same discussions like we had whenever instant replay came in football.
Yeah,
like,
welcome to American sports.
Bad for the game.
England, thank you. Yep, we will everything up. We're going to review everything.
Yeah.
But hey, anywhere you get your podcast, on Apple Podcasts, you can watch it on YouTube, the Two Robbies podcast. If you want to know anything about soccer, aka football, everywhere else in the world, that's a good listen.
Yeah, they're having the debate of, I mean, it's ruining the flow of the game, the exciting moments. You got to stop down and watch replay, and so they're kind of going through the same things that we've gone through.
Yeah, but I have the feeling it's going to get worse in the NFL.
Do you have time for underreactions?
Yeah.
Okay, so this
time. Where do you think I'm going?
You live here.
I'm a prisoner.
So this is what we did last week, because every year you have the preseason, and then you have the overreactions to what happens in the preseason, but we never give enough press, I don't think, to the underreactions, the things that may be slipping through the cracks that we're not paying enough attention to. And the first one has to do with the Atlanta Falcons for me. You don't know what I'm about to say here. I'm kind of springing these on you. So, and feel free to say that those aren't a big deal.
Yes.
Because that's the point of this. Some of these are not a big deal, but some of them may be.
Yes, you're just trying to hit a home run on one or two here.
We're underreacting.
Okay.
You think the Falcons are going to be good this year, right?
I do.
So are we underreacting to the fact that, even though they've tried to beef up their offensive line, Matt Ryan got sacked 3 times, they gave up 5 sacks total in the last preseason game, that their offensive line could sabotage the good year that the Falcons, we think they might have? Are we underreacting to the problems in their offensive line?
No, we are not. We are not underreacting. First off, Caleb McGarry, he had a little surgical procedure, so he's not out there right now.
Their first-round pick.
First-round pick. Their second first-round pick. Their first-round pick, Chris Lindstrom, the guard, has looked phenomenal. So I'm not worried about him at all. This will go back to like a little bit what we talked about with some of the other quarterbacks. The Jets would be one of the teams I would say I don't want to play them in the preseason because Greg Williams, he throws the kitchen sink at you even in the preseason. And that's what they did a little bit to where I think they caught Atlanta off guard to going, hey, we're in preseason mode. Whoa, you're going to bring these blitzes at us? I mean, there was a point where they brought double corner blitzes. Like, that happens, like a double corner blitz happens like once or twice a regular season against yourself, let alone you're not expecting a preseason too. So I think that's caught them off guard a little bit. Okay. I'm not worried about it.
All right, and James Carpenter didn't play well in their last game. So, so they've had some guys out. So that's okay. We're not.
That's all right. I'm not panicked yet. I don't panic with stuff like that. I would panic if we saw the same 4 blitzes in a row and they still can't figure out a pickup, then I would go, okay, they're either idiots or not being coached well, or I panic with like, it's a 4-man rush and man, you're just getting overpowered all the time. Then I start to go, well, damn, these guys just might not be very good. And that's what I look for in preseason.
So maybe we're underreacting to this next one here. The New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees has been there for a long time. Perhaps his skills are diminishing. Taysom Hill, 11 for 16, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 53 yards rushing. People comparing him to Steve Young, another great BYU product, the greatest BYU product to play football. Are we underreacting to the fact that we're seeing the changing of the guard, the passing of the torch from Drew Brees to perhaps Taysom Hill, and it's happening quicker than we ever thought possible?
Okay, this is a good one. This is a really good one. I don't know if we're underreacting for the reason you're saying as far as this is the guy that's passing the torch, but we're underreacting to the fact that he looked freaking phenomenal. And just from pure looks and the way that game played out. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, I know, was under the weather. He played bad. There's no other way to just discuss that, okay? Yeah. I mean, it was bad. And I know they said he was sick and they thought about not playing him. So, hey, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. But I know Taysom Hill showed some qualities that NFL quarterbacks, starting NFL quarterbacks, big-time NFL quarterbacks have. First off, he's learned how to throw, like with accuracy, with touch, with a little anticipation, all of those things. I mean, that's the first thing that jumped out to me. I kind of saw the game and saw some of the things live and then saw some highlights, and I was like, damn, okay. This isn't just like gadget Taysom Hill, hey, somebody run deep and I'll just throw it as far as I can and hopefully we hit it. He was running the offense. And man, Ahmed, it was like really impressive. I mean, really impressive. And again, I know this wasn't the starting defense for the Los Angeles Chargers. They had some quality backups and things like that, but I just came away going, I mean, he had 2 incompletions that were a drop. One was a guy that purely just dropped it because I think the ball came up. It was like a 20-yard out route. His first throw of the game. It went off the guy's face because I think he was like, whoa, that was a laser, and he wasn't expecting it. Another one, he throws a completion. The guy steps out of bounds, and he had nobody around him. But, I mean, he the way he played in the pocket, he wasn't looking to scramble. He was looking to throw first. If things broke down, then he made a play with his legs.
Yeah.
I find that intriguing. He has more talent than Teddy Bridgewater. He has more of a presence than Teddy Bridgewater. I just wonder if they would make him the backup, or if Bridgewater's the backup and Taysom Hill's still going to be just the gadget guy.
Right.
But what if Breeze did get hurt? Week 5, week 6.
You'd rather have Hill.
I think Hill fits the offense of what the Saints are right now a lot better than Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, the Saints could almost, to a degree, play football like the Baltimore Ravens did last year. Mm-hmm. I don't mean like with Lamar, but they really could. They're one of the best run teams in football. They have a great offensive line. We know they have Alvin Kamara, right? Sean Payton loves boots and play actions. All those things fit Taysom Hill to a T, let alone there's already a package in the offense for him for when he wants to run the ball and they want to do those gadget type things. So, I mean, I came out pretty blown away with what I saw to go, ooh, now there's a chance here, not only for a guy to be a backup, he really might be something down the road.
So it's always hard to move on from the legend, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady, it's like, who's going to replace Tom Brady? It's
right.
really difficult. Aaron Rodgers, who's going to replace him? Drew Brees, who's going to replace him? From what you've seen this preseason and what you saw in limited opportunities last year with Taysom Hill, are you starting to think maybe they have the guy that takes over for Drew Brees at some point?
I do. I think that that is a real possibility. And I don't know if I would have said that last year. And even last year, I knew that Sean Payton was obsessed with him already. This is his baby. This is his little toy. Like Antonio Brown is to John Gruden. This was his to Taysom Hill. And, again, it's not all about the stats. The decision-making was right. Where he wanted to throw the ball was right. Okay, the guy's covered, but I'm going to put it out here instead of right here. Damn, it went out there. I mean, all those things looked the right way. And the motion looks smooth and effortless, and he throws freaking missiles when he wants to, and they're perfect spirals. I think it is very intriguing to see kind of what happens there.
Could get some running from their quarterback, which they haven't been able to do in New Orleans for a while, and that brings me to the third possible underreaction from preseason week number 2. And that is the Ravens. I think they made some noise in the offseason. They wanted Lamar Jackson to run less. The owner was like, he's not going to be running a ton. We're gonna try to become more of a passing team, not run as much. He ran 147 times last year, 695 yards and 5 touchdowns. But he had a couple rushes for 14 yards in limited action in the preseason game. His most impressive run was a video game 18-yard touchdown that was called back.
Yes.
Are we underreacting to the idea that perhaps they're going to run just as much, if not more, with Lamar Jackson when you can rip off plays like that?
Yes. Yeah, I don't believe them. I don't know what I'm going to say there. Yes, we are underreacting because I do think that they're still going to run him a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 times.
Are we overreacting to the thought that, not to make it an overreacting one, the thought that they're going to limit Lamar Jackson's runs?
Yes, I'm totally confused in my brain right now whether I'm overreacting or underreacting.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to run him every bit as much as they did last year. Okay, just don't do it now. In the preseason, I said this on PFT last week. Don't show any of your Lamar Jackson design runs. Don't show any of your creative runs. I would really use the preseason as 7-on-7 for Lamar Jackson. That's the area we know he needs to improve on.
Sure.
And he made some throws the other night where I went, ooh, okay. That looked effortless, smooth, on the money, ball flew out of his hands, all of those things to where I would be encouraged that way. But, yeah, I just think the team is set up for him to run the ball 8 to 12 times a game. If he runs the ball 10 times a game, he breaks the NFL record and runs for 160 attempts for the year.
Sure.
And that would be the most in the history of any quarterback. That's just not that many, I think, for the way this team is built right now.
Yeah, he had 147 last year.
Right.
695 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, so I mean, I just don't want it to be, I don't want it to be 288 carries. Sure. That's what I'm worried about. We get past 170 and then that range, I would start to worry about his overall health in the long term.
That was kind of a mixed underreaction, overreaction.
I don't know what the hell that was.
I broke the own rules of my own game.
But you saw his run, right? I mean,
yeah.
That was kind of he's kind of looked like, last preseason I was like, he doesn't look as fast as I thought. this is another example, I think, of a guy who's free, he's not thinking. He's in NFL football shape, and he looked like he had the rocket up his butt.
And if you're a ref and you throw the flag on that play, you look at how impressive it was and you pick it up. I think, it's the good of the league. There was a block in the back.
It was a block in the back, yes.
So the last one here in underreactions, I'm going to get back on track, and this is going to make sense. Marcus Mariota, a lot of questions with him, right? And what we saw last year wasn't good. But are we underreacting to the fact that Marcus Mariota is going to be much improved this year because he has his safety net back in Delanie Walker, who missed almost all of last season, had that ankle injury week 1? Are we underreacting to the importance of Delanie Walker and how much better that's going to make Marcus Mariota this year?
I don't know if I necessarily agree with just the Delanie Walker aspect. Yes. Okay, so we're underreacting. I'll go with you there.
You're just doing that to make me feel good.
I am. Just wanted to make you feel a little good either way.
Yeah.
But that'll certainly help things out. I mean, for a team that, it is Mike Vrabel, we know they want to run the football to a degree. Derrick Henry, smash mouth football. Well, gosh, I mean, when you do that, the tight end is crucial in some of that. Oh, here's the fake run. Oh, the tight end snuck behind the linebackers 20 yards down the field. He's wide open. So I think that Corey Davis, another year under his belt in the NFL. And I think more than anything, I've liked what I've kind of seen from Arthur Smith's offense so far, the man who has taken over for Matt LaFleur. I mean, I really have. I mean, I've kind of liked the drop-back pass concepts, and I think I'm not so sure the offense might not be more creative this year than it was with Matt LaFleur last year. So that's saying something.
So there's a lot of things that could help Marcus Mariota, not just Delanie Walker.
And Ryan Tannehill's on his ass. That's the other thing that's going to help.
Sure.
It's the first time in his career.
Although Ryan Tannehill has said, like, I'm the backup.
He's saying all the right things, and that's what he should say.
He's saying that, maybe not thinking that.
Well, he's certainly not playing like it. I can tell you that. He's been impressive in the first 2 weeks. But I would bet Marcus Mariota is taking that into account and looking at that. And, hey, when you got competition in the room and somebody pushing you on a daily basis, that'll get you to cross T's and dot I's on a daily basis, too.
Delanie Walker had a birthday last week. Guess how old he is now?
I'm going to say 36.
35.
Ooh.
35.
Yeah, he's your old 49er buddy who they didn't utilize enough when he was out there.
I know, he was good for him, but he got a pretty big deal out of that.
They had Vernon Davis at the time, so it was hard to give everybody the ball.
So that's preseason week number 2 underreactions. That was good. We got some other stories out there.
Yeah.
One was kind of an overreaction, which I
don't even know what the hell that was.
That was a
weird one.
It was
just a talk about Lamar Jackson.
What we're going to do is we're going to edit that out of the podcast.
No, we're not. No, we're not. All right.
That's it.
We did it.
Is that it?
Is there anything else we can possibly talk about? I don't think so.
We're going to stick around, and we're going to look at the weekend pictures at some point. That's going to be a separate video on YouTube where we kind of take a look at the most interesting pictures from the week in football.
Oh, I'm excited to do that because you and I did that on the baseball.
On the baseball side.
Right.
And then you go, Ahmed, stop with the baseball. You go, seriously, this is a football thing.
And you're wearing 2 baseball shirts.
I didn't stop.
All right, we're done. I've had enough. I can't talk anymore. I got a headache, and I'm hungry, all right? Peace out, homies. Ahmed, you the man. Always fun.
Cool.
Thanks for bringing the energy. And check back in Thursday. Thursday, we got Josh Norris, okay? Roto World. Damn, I missed that one. Okay. Damn it. And then Phil will be on too. He's got to do something to earn a paycheck around here. I am off my game today. Go ahead, take a shot. Whoa. Okay. And that wasn't very good. I don't know if I'm underreacting or overreacting to that one. But peace out, homies. Have a good one. You know where to find us. YouTube.com/NBC Sports if you want to see these 2 beautiful faces. See ya. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Sims Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.